necessarily mean a lot to people, especially if you're not really into or inspired by all of the technical aspects and freedoms that come with the underlying blockchain technology. And for a lot of people who are looking at Web3 as a career, I'm curious how you would define like Web3 in terms of your career. Because when I think of Web2, I just think of it's the old way of working, it's the old financial systems. It's just really like how our societies globally are set up. And then we have our, we have Maggie. No, oh my goodness, no apologies needed. So we have like this old way of working, and then we have with Web3, we have this new way of working, and there's a really big mindset shift that has to occur to go from really traditional work where you're like, okay, I get a degree, and then I look at jobs, and they tell me what skills I'm supposed to have, and I have to fit the criteria. And if you're a woman, you feel like you have to fit all the criteria before you even apply, and then I think it's like statistically like 50 or 40%. And because this is really a day about careers, what would you say is that biggest mindset shift that people have to go from the old way of work, Web2, to the new way of working, or the potential of where we'll be in Web3? And I just thought we could just kind of go down the panel, and then you maybe just want to give a quick recap as to who you are.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think entering the Web3 space, the best way to look at it is it's a disruptive technology. And in order to have your entry point, there's several entry points, and there's several barriers to entry. So it's really just about navigating your entry point in. And the best way to think about it is we have Bitcoin, like in the ways that in which it disrupts, right? So we have Bitcoin disrupting fiat currency, which is your government-backed currency. We have Ethereum disrupting software. We have NFTs disrupting content and media. You have smart contracts disrupting business efficiencies, and you have DAOs disrupting traditional corporate structure. So if you can think of it in terms of silos of disruption, the overall disruption is going to be a movement forward in the workforce, in how we operate, in how we engage. But each point is a point of entry possibly for you. If you don't understand fiat currency, which most people don't, then maybe Bitcoin and digital currencies isn't your entry point, because that's a big concept and that can be overwhelming. If you're not initially a software developer or you don't understand software, then understanding how Ethereum operates and the ways in which different protocols and layer ones work might not be your entry point. But guess what? All of you understand content and media. That's why content and media always drive forward innovative and disruptive technologies. So NFTs can be a great entry point because that gets you into the space and engaging with the space. And it's about how you engage. That's what pulls you in, and that's what is the deep dive for you. And that's how you really make connections. DAOs are also a great opportunity because DAOs are so community oriented. It's about being pulled in and about navigating the space in an organic way. So I think for an entry point, you just need to look at which disruptor speaks to you the most.
What should you say? No, so I mean, absolutely everything that you just said. I also, I swear I'm being followed by a grandmother. It's not what people's fault. It's one of the most important parts and locations where all of this is happening, believe it or not, is Twitter. If you don't have a Twitter account, go set one up immediately. I came into Web3, as I mentioned, in March 2021, and I just started making connections and going into Twitter spaces, and that is where I built community, but it's also, more importantly, where I just shut up and listened. Right? I listened, I learned out loud, I shared with my community what I was learning. As far as I see it right now, aside from the technical positions and the attorneys and the people that are here with actual technical knowledge, nobody is an NFT Web3 expert, because this technology is moving so quickly. We can barely keep up with the knowledge, but what is really fundamental is those connections that you can make onto it. There's so much more accessibility. Like, just as an example, I put this conference together on Tuesday, and we were able to get, the chief branding officer from Time Magazine to sit on the panel. That would never happen in Web2. And how did we make that happen? I tweeted her, and we had a DM. We had Julie Pacino on the panel. Like, the kind of connections that can be made on Twitter in Web3 are just second to none. So I would say, obviously get basic kind of foundational education that you can. Just do your own research, DYOR, hashtag. But the space will give you a lot of grace. You can come in, you can listen, you can learn, you can find out where you feel good and where your people are, and then kind of resonate towards that.
Well, I would say that if you don't have like a Twitter account, of course get a Twitter account, because that is where all the information are at. But then at the same time, there's a lot of people that want to jump onto this space, but they don't know how. It's like, where do I start? This is way too overwhelming, right? I would say just buy one NFT. You buy one NFT, you put in money, $10, $50, no matter how much it is. You will actually check it. You will read about it. You will jump on the Discord. You will meet some friends along the way, and that's how you learn more about the space. At the same time, if you want to start your own product or you want to work in the Web3 space, just reach out. Just as what she said. Just a tweet, a DM, even Binance. There is one career tab, and you can just put in your CV. And I have 20 members in my team, and half of them work in Binance, and they just simply put it in, put their CV in, and they got hired, right? So that is one good way as well. You can start by working part-time and stuff like that. So there is a lot of ways where you can jump onto the space, as long as you have the internet,
So yeah, everything they said, I agree.
Yes, hi, totally agree with what everybody said. Can you hear me? Is it me? Aha, can you hear me? It's not facing my face. So this, there you go. On Zoom calls, the microphone's like, does this work? Maybe I'll see it. You can share. Sharing is there. Okay, thank you so much. Sorry, I'm late and I'm just a walking ball of chaos. We all are, right? Chaos is a very feminine energy and a lot of great things comes out of it. My name is Maggie Love. I'm the founder of SheFi. Little history, joined the crypto space in 2016 after I picked up the blockchain revolution in Union Square. I co-founded my first company, which I still work at. That's my day job. It's called Web3 Cloud, and we build compute infrastructure for crypto networks. So we're really making sure this new internet infrastructure is truly decentralized. And I was not an incredibly technical person before that came through. It's backed by AMD consensus, and I've learned a lot. So let's keep thinking about learning, curiosity. It's all possible. And then in 2019, I noticed that women were not participating in building, marketing, on the finance team for DeFi. Somehow all the men got put in that unit the minute it became a thing. And so I just didn't want to convince people to hire women anymore. It was tough. So I was like, I'm just going to create the world and the community I want to see. Because it's not just about having women or non-binary folks or BIPOC folks on teams. As a check mark, it's about we create better products. It's about what's at stake for global technologies that we do not include many voices, many backgrounds, many experiences in forming the technologies. And I just went to a talk with as a woman who was the first female partner at Bain, and the workplace structures, patterns of interactions, and everything that happens is actually hostile towards women. And so when we're thinking about creating a new space and new teams and new DAOs, if we don't have a women in there, we're just going to recreate those new structures. And then as well, we're going to have to choose whether we want to be competent or likable and a whole host of other things. So we really need to be here at the table. That's why I started SheFi. So where to get started in crypto? So yes, I totally agree. Do something active that doesn't cost a ton of money, that can get you experience with the technology. Even just downloading a wallet. If you download a wallet like MetaMask, an Ethereum wallet, they have a way for you to access their testnet and send test transactions. Some applications like Aave, which is a lending and borrowing platform, is also all built on the testnet. So you can actually get started in the Ethereum space for free and try these different activities or do something like buy an NFT. Be careful with free mints, but maybe there's like a free mint. It doesn't always have to cost money. And then I would also say the best way to learn is like taking risks. Apply for that job. Join a lot of DAOs and see, what skills might be relevant for you and a way to contribute. Just don't be shy, don't be scared. I think no one really knows what they're doing in this space 100%. And we're still at the beginning, and so everyone's learning as they go. So you are more than capable of being right there at the table. She has a brand on DeFi. I have no traditional financial background. I have no DeFi background. I just committed to learning it, and I know everybody else can too.
Thank you, everyone. Those were really, I wish I had like a notebook. I could be writing down all your answers. I really appreciate all that. And I think one of the things too, for people listening, it's always about recognizing we don't have to do all of the things that are recommended and suggested to us. It's really just about always asking ourselves, what is my path of least resistance, which is what you were saying, like there's different silos. Pick your silo of disruption that appeals most to you. Like we all have natural curiosities. We're not really in tune with our intuition that much, but your intuition is really whatever you feel curious about learning, that's your intuition telling you, well, keep going, keep exploring.